Hey everyone, Radical Dreamer here, and I just thought I'd give you a preview of The Outcast, Episode 0. The Outcast is a podcast done by myself and two other Japanese-speaking gamers living here in Japan. In our prototype episode, we delve deep into Final Fantasy XIII. We cover everything. Our histories with Final Fantasy, the Japanese market, linearity, gameplay, characters, locations, the good, the bad, and even the voice acting, translation, and music. As a preview, I've decided to share with you part of our discussion on Final Fantasy XIII and how it interacts with the Japanese market. If you would like to hear more, please head over to theoutcastpodcast.blogspot.com or just click the link in the information box. Thanks for watching.
What is Final Fantasy XIII and why should we give a shit?
Well, this is, for the longest time, at least in Japan, been considered pretty much the savior of not only the PlayStation 3 itself, but of HD gaming as a whole. Whereas in America, HD television set adoption rates have been much faster, and more people are buying them. Obviously, there's price differences. They're much cheaper in the States. But over here, it's been a very, very slow drive. Very slow adoption rate.
Do you know any Japanese people who own HD TVs?
I myself, no. I don't actually. I do not.
I know two or three, but given my company, that kind of comes with the territory. But I do know what you're saying, Carl. I mean, there was a survey that was released a couple of years back, and I believe it's still pretty true today. The most requested piece of technology was a HD converter box, because mum and dad don't want to buy another TV. They think this DVD thing is pretty much enough. Blu-ray, like DVD before it, ridiculously expensive here. A volume of anime locally, it's going to cost you $80, $90, $100.
Yeah.
And people, DVDs have dropped in price. The kids can play on their wireless DSs or PSPs in their rooms. Mum and dad can have the old standard TV with a converter box in the living room or the kitchen or wherever it is. I mean, what's the need? The size factor,
To provide context for our listeners in America or whatever, Japan has not yet switched over to digital broadcast signals. That happens this July of next year.
Next year, 2011.
So yes.
And I mean, one of the big things that I thought would take off with HD TV was, the TVs are a lot smaller, save space. You do that normally by putting them on a wall. As you guys are well aware, we have earth tremors every month or so.
Yeah, there's earthquakes all over the place.
All over the place. So hanging them on the wall is not the best idea.
No.
Maybe most aesthetically pleasing, but, you're going to break your shit.
So, So
Never
the short
gonna
of
see
it, is that HD gaming has yet to really take off.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's much more common for everyone to own a Wii and a DS,
Yes.
and now a PSP.
Like we mentioned earlier, the natural evolution of the market is very different than the West in that a lot of people are migrating towards handhelds as their primary console, or even in the home, they'll forego the traditional PlayStation experience hooked up to a TV and they'll just sit on their couch and play a handheld console. That's becoming more and more the norm over here.
Which is why the DSLL is selling so unbelievably well for something that's not portable.
That's a good point.
The
DS is the most commonly played gaming system in the house.
In the
this
home,
was in, I think, the Nikkei Weekly or something like that. And also, I mean, what I found interesting, I went to work to talk to some of the R&D guys in the labs, and I said, look at this DS Fat. I mean, who's going to buy this new extra large one? How ridiculous is this? And everyone in the room was intending to buy one. And I couldn't believe it. It's like it's a little bit of an extra size on your screen. Why would you get a second or third or fourth DS? They're like, well, now when we're sitting at home and playing Dragon Quest, as opposed to being on the train and playing Dragon Quest 9, we can have a bigger screen with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, the system, while superficially has been marketed towards the elderly audience, with brain training games and calligraphy, cooking, things like that.
Any type of do-it-yourself, self-help type thing.
I mean, that's the angle they're promoted on, but I think most of the sales on the system are coming from what you call your hardcore RPG gamers.
Exactly.
Who are coming home and playing on their couch.
Sounds right.
While their old CRT TV is turned off.
Right.
Yeah. But, okay, so we've all got Final Fantasy XIII. How much did you guys pay for it?
Well, the game, like I said, came out last December 17th. It came out at a manufacturer's suggested retail price of 9,240 yen. Now, let me provide a little context here. In America, for your high-def games, you pay pretty much a stock fee of $60. Your small budget titles, your big blockbuster titles, they pretty much come in at $60. In Japan, the price of the software is directly dependent on how much it costs to develop. So with a huge, big-budget game like Final Fantasy, the price is going to go up a little bit. So 9,240 yen. Now, I myself, you'll never buy a game at that price. I've never heard of it being for sale anywhere.
No.
I myself paid about, I think, 6,800 yen.
Right.
Yeah.
A similar price here. I pre-ordered on Amazon. Got the day after release. I think it was 7.2.
7.2. Yeah, that sounds right. Because I also got it on Amazon.
So either way, it was a good $20
That's
off.
a $20 off the suggested retail
price. No place. Every store is like, look, the suggested retail price is this much, but you're getting a massive discount.
All three of us are based in the greater Tokyo area, and there's lots of huge mega stores for electronics that sell things at bargain basement prices. Even my friends who live in the countryside of Japan, where there's nothing but mom and pop stores, they say it's not even that expensive. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of fuss online when the price was announced, but I mean...
You never pay that much.
You never pay that much, and historically, I mean, there's always a kind of Square Enix tax.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so games. True. They're always a little more than anything else. I mean, if you go back to Final Fantasy VI, it cost, was it 11,400 yen? So that's like
over $100.
$110, $120 back in the day.
Which was
your standard price, I mean, Final Fantasy 12 for context was 8,800.
Right.
11 and 10 were both 7,800. Normally that's 7,800, 8,800 yen. That's around your average price for a new game.
Right, but every once in a while it can be dramatically lower, like Uncharted 2.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes for business reasons, they will sell it, at under cost. Like for our listeners in America, you paid $60 for Uncharted 2. On launch date, it was like basically $48 over here because they wanted to introduce this game to Japanese consumers at a more reasonable price.
Right.
Yeah, with horrid box art.
So yeah,
it's with atrocious box art.
But yeah, so it's not near as static game prices in Japan.
Yes,
as it would be
pretty much anything comes in about $60 in the States. It varies from title to title over here.
I mean, often the makers will set an open price as such, which is they'll recommend something to the retailer. Behind closed doors, but they're free to set their own. So that gives them a little bit of leeway, flexibility there with their pricing.
Right.
So all right,